Hello everybody and welcome back to another round here of Formula Aero. I am Gaffo, your host, and unfortunately today I am joined by nobody other than myself as we look to get underway for another round of racing action here in the streets of Baku in Azerbaijan. Looks a very different grid this week, lots of different changes, and I will keep you updated on that. If you are following the stream, not knowing the driver changes in Formula Aero, but some drivers have stepped out. Unfortunately, Mr. Orobang of Ferrari has stepped aside. He's been replaced by Rafa, who had a great week last week, unfortunately with a penalty. Ended up finishing in P9 or P8 I think it was. So is the new Ferrari driver, so they have a very strong lineup as it looks, as Ricky continues his championship battle. He's starting tonight along with the other two championship contenders, M. Stowe and Viper. Caden Conway has been on the front row in the last two races. We're riding on board with him at the moment. He still yet to get through the first 3 laps of a Grand Prix. Both, unfortunately, not his fault, but hopefully we'll get to see what he has in store for us tonight. But he has a big uphill battle now in the championship. We'll see what he has for his first lap in Baku. He's got 2 Williams drivers following him behind, and as we hope to have a full grid by lights out, Francisco Bernoulli making his Formula Aero debut in the Alpine after he took over from the WTEC Vinny. And then finally the last full-time dropout is Pickle Alex, who still hasn't been replaced yet. The Viper, maybe, who currently racing in his seat, has something to say about that. But Caden, a little snap of oversteer into one, but he gets it in through quite nicely as he hops over the curbs there at 2 and DRS activated. Burn as much ERS as you can all the way down towards turn 3 now. One of the trickiest to get right, as you really have to get right in along that inside wall. Down into 4 now, just right curb over right wheel over the curb on the right hand side, and now into the tricky left right chicane here of turn 5 and 6, down now towards one of the trickiest sections of the track. Now this kind of late braking zone here, you need to get it turned in. He turns in too early and invalidates, and that is where the laps do struggle, because you either turn in too early or you turn in too late and hit the wall. As he hit after that was the castle section. Francisco Bernoulli got in no problem, so we have 19 runners currently in qualifying, as here comes Quiet Boy now on his lap for Williams. He'll be the first to set an active timed lap as he heads down to the end of the middle sector. And it's looking like it's going to be a 14-15-3 for him out of turn 16, and now pretty much straight flat out through these bends here of 18 and 19, and hardly even a corner, turn 19. He's going to get a nice toe, it looks like, off Caden Conway. He was probably going to go again, I'd say, which allows him now to get really nice toe. Caden swings out away into the pits, and Quiet Boy starts with a 39.6, so a decent enough lap. Still definitely a lot of room for improvement, as Johnsy Boy comes to the line with a 16.1, so that's a lot further off the pace, as Jitter Archie sets a 40.2. Leopold retires from the session. That is massive. He's hit the wall, and that is massive for the championship battle. He said today he wouldn't be racing, unfortunately, due to illness, but he managed to get on and race anyway, and it's a horrible start, and I'd say he'll want to just leave after that, because that is not a good start to his race whatsoever. Ricky goes fastest with a 38.3. Decent banker from him as he goes straight on at turn 1. Next across the line will be Solar, as the Viper goes second with a 39.4. What can Solar do? It's not going to be a very competitive lap time. It's 30.0. Following him is the next Haas of M. Stowe. The championship leader goes to the top of the timings with a 138.2. Next will be ST. He'll cross the line with a 39.9. Decent lap from him, as Up the Gunners has retired in the pit lane. So that is surprising from him, as Rafa goes fourth fastest. No, Hyper goes third fastest with a 39 flat. After that will be one of the Mercedes of Stranger, he's just starting a lap. So next will be Nathan. Nathan coming to the end now of his lap as he heads through turn 15. Just scrapes the wall on the exit down, and it's a 16-2. So it's looking like it might be in and around P10 currently at the moment, as it looks like Yari has set a fairly competitive lap with the rest of the midfield. Nathan probably going to be in and around that section as well, as Stranger McD starts his flying lap. Nathan, what can he do here now as DRS is activated, and he'll be burning all the way to the line, every single last bit of that battery, and it's a 40.6, so a good bit off the rest of those runners. He'll have to improve later on in the session. We'll ride on board with Stranger McD and see what he has to offer for the end of qualifying, or for the start of his qualifying lap, I should say. As he heads through the castle section now, my mic may be a little bit dodgy. I'm going to try and fix. There we go. It should be fixed now, as he now has a tiny bit of ERS activated on the run now down towards turn 15. This is where one driver has got it wrong already. His teammate clipped that wall. He's played very, very safe there, as he leaves plenty of room to the barriers. As he heads through the 18-19 chicane, kind of there, flat out chicane, through the nothing corner that is turn 20, and the run now down towards the line. And what can he say? It is a 40.4, so slightly better than his teammate Mercedes, currently 11 and 10. As it looks like Richie is currently on his hot lap. Caden finally about to set his second flying lap. Gee, what can he do? He's been struggling a bit this year, as we see him now come over the curb, and he also left plenty of room to the barriers there for turn 15, but he's been struggling a bit this year, and he's been asking for maybe a little bit of leniency in terms of dropping down to a lower tier, which, as much as I'd love to do, we do kind of have the bare minimum currently for Formula Aero Tier 1 as it is. So at the moment I'd just like to see him kind of finish out this what will be a tricky season, but kind of help his teammate Caden, who should be able to pick up wins for the team. But it's a great lap from Richie there, who puts himself right amongst the mix here for a top 6 start with a 39.7. We'll see what his teammate Kate, who is currently on a lap, and on a very fast one indeed, as he scrapes the curb or the wall going over that turn 15, and he set the fastest middle sector of 14.3. That's an absolute flying middle sector, and this could be a lap that already dips into the 137s. We'll see now as he flies through turn 19 there. And it's now with 10 seconds or so left of his lap. It is foot to the floor in a straight line as DRS now open as he flies down the pit straight and to the line. Caden Conway, it is a 38.7. So we lost a lot of time there in the final sector. Maybe ran out of battery or something. So he definitely will have a lot of time in that lap. He'll probably get one more go in at the end. 38.7 puts him second row, third fastest currently. So it's looking like Leopold will only start in P19. Lucas Racing has a decent lap set so far, 1:15 flat in the middle sector as he heads now towards the line. DRS open as close to that inside wall as he could, and it's a 39.4, kind of that middle of the pack. A load of drivers with a 39.4. He'll be battling it out for what seems to be the top 5 start here. Francesco Bernoulli also made a mistake that I missed there. He's retired from the session, so 3 drivers will not get a lap in, one at all. Quiet Boy 2/10 up. No, sorry, he's only just starting his lap. I wonder if Ricky is further into his lap. No, it's looking like it's going to be Quiet Boy. We will focus on, he is 2/10 up on his first sector, so a decent first sector, 2.5 tenths up looking like he maybe can get involved in that top 5 battle here. And after a really good result last week, putting him on the podium in Abu Dhabi, a track where he struggled last year in his championship winning season, he would like to get some high scoring points, and maybe even, if he does have any more pace in his car, launch himself into, may I say, a championship battle, because he's only 23 points off the race leader as we see him now come through 18 and 19. He's definitely been thereabouts. The top 4 all drivers who have scored a point in every single race. No one else on the grid has done that yet, as he has DRS open. He won't have the slipstream that he had in his first run as he comes to the line now, and it is a 30. Yeah, he loses all the time in the final sector, it seems. So unfortunately, losing all that time as there's a Haas nearly parked across the pit lane. He got out of the way in time before he got disqualified. He must have spun into 1. Ricky is 5/10 up in his time. This is a really, really good lap so far, but once again, no car ahead of him to pick up any sort of slipstream down this main straight. We'll see now as he's already kind of lost his battery, so that won't help either, but he'll come to the line now, and it's going to be a 37.9, a 3/10 improvement. So we did lose a bit of time, which means there's more time to gain in his final run, but our first car that is dipped into the 137s as we next cross the line will be the McLaren of Johnsy Boy. 2/10 up, potentially a chance here to go into the top 10 and ahead of his teammate with a little bit of an improvement in the final sector. DRS open now as he heads towards the line. What can Johnsy Boy set? It's going to be a 39.96, and they are 11-10 at the moment. After that, M Stowe, championship leader, no improvement at the moment, and it's looking like he's going to give a nice slipstream to ST, who is not on a lap, so it wouldn't matter. Next across the line, Rafa matched his 2 sectors. Does he have any pace in the final sector? I think he's just going to bring it into the pits. He will. So not many improvements so far going on. Solar, what can he have to improve? As currently both Red Bulls have a lot of work to do in the race, unless Solar can do a massive improvement here, which he does. 7/10, but still nowhere near the pace at the moment. We'll see what he can do when it comes to the race. Nathan Yu matched his first sector, but what can he do? A 4/10 improvement in the final sector. He had all the battery there to drain towards the end. Moves himself up into P12. The Viper 96. He spun at the start of his lap, so he doesn't get anything quite competitive in. Next across the line will be Stranger to start his next flying lap. Hyper, he not on a lap here at the moment either, so yeah, it's going to be Stranger, the next one to set a lap. We'll ride on board yet again with him to see what he has in store for us, as we have roughly, can't really tell with the yellow flags due to, I think that's Ricky who is ran out of fuel. We'll see now once he gets in how long we have left of qualifying. 4 minutes 30 seconds, so this could be Stranger's last run. I do not think he will get back and get in time for another run. He has an Aston Martin though behind him of Lucas Racing, who I may think is also on a lap. He's 2/10 down currently at the moment. Have to see, does he have much speed, or is he being held up maybe by Stranger? Of course, both are on a flying lap, so there is no impeding when both drivers are on flying laps. As he goes through the castle section here, and he's hit the inside wall and he's out. So P15 at best for Stranger McD. He has crashed in qualifying, so that's a huge shame for him. It has left Lucas Racing with a little bit of clean air now towards the end of his final sector. We'll see now, has he any improvement in his 39.4 so far? He is pushing that car as he comes to the end of his middle sector. He's 1.3 seconds. No, he will not be pushing that car anymore. It's looking like it will be Caden to set the final lap here, or the first of the final laps here. As you can see, the cars are slowly making their way out for their final runs. Caden hopefully doesn't get caught in any traffic here as drivers leave for their outlap, because he will be starting probably with around 1 minute 40 to go, which is where you expect most drivers to be on the track. So we will see now if there will be many cars in the way, as once again the Williams of Quiet Boy, I think, following him close behind. No, sorry, that is Jitter Archie, who has a decent lap set so far as a 40.3 or 40.2. A little bit of improvement, could see himself into his first top 10 start of the season. But for now, we'll ride on board with a driver who could be picking up his third front row start in a row as he heads down the main straight now. Pole last time out in Abu Dhabi. What does he have in store for us here now? DRS activated and his foot to the floor, heading down towards turn 1. Revs are max, burning slight bit of overtake as he heads down into 1. Gets as close to that inside curve as possible and rides as he heads now down towards 2. And he goes again, fairly decent cornering so far from Caden, so his lap looking clean so far as he heads up to 3. And like I said, one of the really tricky ones, and he really got as close to that inside wall as possible, making sure there is no time left out on this track as he heads towards the end of the first sector now, and next will be the 5 and 6 chicane. He's matched his first time with a 500th improvement as he heads now down towards the tricky braking zone of turn 7. Is he going to turn in too early this time? No, he gets it just right. He's really leaving everything on the track here and hoping that he doesn't have this Alpine who will get in his way. I think he got a bit of damage, the Alpine, and it looks like he may. Oh no, he just gets out of the way. I hope that didn't affect Caden and his lap. We'll see now. But he did get out of the way, as it seems. Next, I think there's a McLaren. Hopefully he's not going to be too in the way of Caden. He's going to try and get out of the way as possible. Caden held up a little bit with traffic. It's not helping him one bit, but he is 1.3 tenths up anyway. He'll need a lot more than that now in the final sector. Does he have the battery to do it? It looks like he's saved a lot more this time as he heads towards the line now. What's the improvement going to be like? I think he looks like he's going to run out of battery as well very, very early as he heads towards the line now. Caden, it's a 138.2. It's a 5/10 improvement. He's pushed himself to the front row for the moment, but at the moment it's looking like Ricky has it all for him so far. Jitter Archie, good improvement, puts himself 11th. Next across the line will be the Haas of M. Stowe. M. Stowe 3 tenths up here coming into the end. This really could be pole position as Johnsy Boy retires from qualifying. His lap is over. P12 at best for him as M. Stowe comes to the line now. The championship leader goes straight to the top of the pack with a 137.8. But what can Ricky do to stop him? He's matched his time in the first sector and is coming to the end of the middle sector. Next across the line though, Rafa, 4 tenths up. What does he have? He has a 4/10 improvement. A 38.9 puts him 4th fastest. What can Ricky do? He's only matched himself as well, so it's gonna be almost a tenth in it between the two leaders. What time does Ricky have in the final sector here? DRS open and foot to the floor as Ricky crosses the line, and it is pole position for Ricky, and Ferrari back on top once again. And it's a massive lap from Ricky there, who got all the time gained in the final sector there. Goes on to pole position. Next across the line, we'll rest of the midfield now, heading towards the line. What has Nathan got in terms of improvements? He crosses the line, gets into the 39s with a massive improvement, and up into the top 10 for now. ST, he had damage, as it looks like that's Lucas. Racing improves ahead of Richie to go into 7th fastest. And finally then we have Yari. Has he got much of an improvement himself? A 3/10 improvement puts him up to P12. That is qualifying over, and we have a hell of a race ahead of us now in Baku. We are back for a very sunny race day, and as always I will give my predictions for the race. Of course, no one to join me to share their predictions, but my predictions anyway, whether you care or not. I'm going to go for the exact same as the grid order. I know Baku is one for carnage, but I do think there'll be carnage, but I think somehow we'll end up back the way we started. Ricky to take the win, M. Stowe to finish second, and Caden Conway to finish third. But a long race ahead of us. We will see what we have in store as 5 lights are about to go for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Looks like everyone is obeying by the rule of the readying up, so everyone should have a decent strategy for today, but you can hear it there. Only 10 seconds to go until we're underway. So here we go to 5 red lights for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go, and it's a good getaway from Ricky, who's going to probably get to the first corner just in time. M. Stowe follows him with Caden and then Hyper, and then comes Rafa. Lucas Racing making up a place as it looks like there's a bit of a desync between Richie and I think a Williams as Richie's hit the inside wall. Richie collides and is flung into the barriers there at turn 2. Absolute carnage there in the first sector, but M. Stowe looking possibly to get right by as we see the Mercedes of Nathan trying to make up places here. Quiet Boy defending from that, but it's a horrible start from Richie, who's got damage from hitting the wall and then flung into the outside wall of turn 2 as there's battling still going on here behind. And Nathan, who's lost out places there, trying to get by the likes of Quiet Boy and his teammate, and Johnsy Boy gets by, and that's an absolute outrageous move from Nathan, nearly putting Johnsy Boy into the wall. And well, that was inevitable from Nathan, and that is, I have to say, absolutely abysmal driving there. Jitter Archie loses both of his end plates, and it is a virtual safety car. So Johnsy Boy will not be happy, and neither will ST, all picking up early lap 1 damage. But some quite incredible driving there from Nathan Yu has lost him not only places himself, but has probably put him in a lot of trouble for the stewards. That will involve its own investigation from the onboard I seen. Front 3 broke away, and it looks like the top 5 have got away nice and cleanly, and crucially enough I think Hyper or Leo has also got away quite cleanly in the opening races. As it looks like, unfortunately, Up the Gunners has picked up a 10-second time penalty for ignoring yellow flags. Leo gets away cleanly, so he has a little bit of work to do, but I'm sure he doesn't mind. I think Up the Gunners stays too much. You see ST making a nice little overtake in the pit lane there, or Johnsy Boy I should say, all who has no front wing. As we look and see Caden and Hyper battling, as well as M. Stowe and Ricky out front. Hyper and Caden battling. M. Stowe gets the lead of the race, so a fantastic overtake from the championship leader to get ahead. Caden still trying to battle away here with Hyper in the early stages. There's a little bit of contact, and that's Lucas Racing's right end plate kind of flicking off there, so that's an awful shame for him. Ricky right on the back of M. Stowe through the castle section now, as they're all going to put pressure on the next driver, as it looks like still the top 8 all getting away cleanly following in that DRS train. Fran Bernoulli next in 9th with Jitter Archie right behind. A lot of damage here early in lap 1, which means the cars have all kind of split apart. As we see M. Stowe, Ricky, Caden, Hyper, then Rafa, Quiet Boy, Lucas Racing and Stranger McD all in this one DRS train led by now our championship leader M Stowe, but Ricky is going to look to respond in the nick of time here as he gains and will now have DRS available and has a lot more pace than the Haas driver down towards 1, and this could be a battle that we will see right throughout the race here, as we see a load of drivers picking up the fastest lap all the way back down to Quiet Boy, who's now kind of ended that train of cars down in P6. Viper goes even quicker as there seems to be a yellow flag. I'll get the track map up for, I think that's Richie, who's had an awful first lap. However that unfolded, we'll have to wait and investigate. But Ricky will lead lap 3 as he breaks the kind of toe and the chance for M Stowe to overtake down the second straight there on the run to turn 3. Gary came into the pits, had to get that wing changed. We'll see now what he has up next. Up the Gunners with an awful start, and Richie straight into the pit lane again already after picking up more damage, it seems. So he has a lot of work to do and is definitely going to be relying on a safety car, and his strategy will be changed up completely. We'll see now what these drivers have. Caden seems to be kind of falling away a bit. He's kind of picked up the pace a bit there out of the castle section, just trying to get as close to the front 2 as possible and make sure that nobody has the chance of getting a run on him, all the way down to, I think, Lucas Racing is the end of that pack. He has a little bit of damage, which isn't helping him one bit, as we also see the championship winner last year, Quiet Boy, amongst this. He's under a little bit of pressure from Lucas Racing, as it seems, as Lucas, we ride on board with him, gaining a lot on the Williams driver, and I suppose with a little bit of extra weight off the end plate, he's going to breeze by the Williams and has made the move up into P6, as it looks like there's a collision down at the castle section. It's up the Gunner, he's gone straight on, he's done I don't even know who done that, and as he tries to reverse out onto the track, Richie coming along behind him. He'll get out of the way just in time. Ricky remains just ahead of M Stowe here for the moment. A little bit of contact as we see. I think that was Hyper who clipped the wall. He also has front wing damage, so a lot of drivers picking up damage in the early stages of this race, which may be a good sign for the likes of Leopold all the way back there in P11. But my prediction remains as it is. Ricky leads from M Stowe, from Caden, and now you can see that front 3 starting to break away. Hyper nearly a second behind, and I think he has just dropped out of the DRS now, so he has to do a little bit of pushing here with that damage to try and catch up to Caden. Caden, I think himself, will be having to do a little bit of catch up as well to try and get amongst this front 2 who have been battling all season and are going to be battling again. Unfortunately, Ricky had a poor result in Abu Dhabi, only P6 for him, leaves him now 14 points as there's a safety car, somebody's had an off. It may have been up the Gunner. No, it's Johnsy Boy has collided, loses his front wing, and it's an early safety car here on lap 4 with all 20 drivers still available, so that is really going to shake things up now. And we see, is that going to cause people to come in? It will. So this is the perfect time maybe for the soft or medium runners to come in, but it's going to allow Hyper now to lead this race, and a few drivers will come through with him now. The likes of Rafa doesn't want to double stack, Lucas, who's on a hard, doesn't want to come in, Quiet Boy on a hard, Stranger McD on a hard, and Leo all on hard tyres, which means that Ricky, M Stowe all have a bit of work to do, as it looks like Fran Bernoulli is also just going to get out ahead of Ricky and up into P7. So in terms of pit stops, it's looking like that top 3 have a real advantage, and it looks like they've got out just in the nick of time as well, because I think this is the opportunity for all the other drivers to get their wings changed, the likes of Jitter, Archie, ST. But most of that front pack, other than Caden, M Stowe and Ricky and the Viper, all didn't come into the pits, so you're looking at kind of this 5 here of Ricky down to Jitter Archie in a great position in terms of pit stops and their gain over it. We'll see now how long the likes of M. Stowe and Ricky can't drag out, even Caden as well. How long can they drag out these hard tyres? The forecast is sun right till the end of the race, as we see Leo with his infamous brake dragging to try and keep those tyres warm as much as to his pleasure. But at the moment we'll have to see how this is going to affect. Have they got the right strategy in that? Yari went straight off there at the pit exit, picks up a 10-second time penalty, so not been another good race for Yari. Picked up a P10 in Abu Dhabi last week, but he's going to be really against it, trying to pick up any sort of points this week, as we'll probably have this safety car out for a very long time as we wait for Up the Gunners to kind of catch up with him, and probably won't get back going until the start of lap 7. So, of course, Ricky and Stowe have a lot of work to do, but luckily enough, the drivers ahead are all fairly consistently clean drivers according to my standings, which is good to know for all of them. Of course, the likes of Hyper, Rafa look to try and break away in the early stage of this safety car restart, but still won't be coming in yet, so it's looking like we will get back racing at the start of lap 8 due to there's such spread in the field already. As we watch Johnsy Boy hopefully try and catch up. I think he's been held up a little bit, or Richie I should say has been held up a little bit, as Jitter Archie has decided to come into the pit, so he must have been pushing that medium too hard during the safety car, and he's going to come in now and he's going to serve, I think, a penalty he must have, and also come in to the pit lane. So that's a real shame for Jitter Archie, but of course he does have the fresh set of tyres, so he still has a little bit of a benefit over the top 7 as long as he can stay clean. And of course now he also has fresh tyres, so he can go quite a long way with those. As we watch Up the Gunners come in and change his wing again. I think they could be running out of front wings at Red Bull. Luckily it's only the second driver who's reserving Up the Gunners who has his wing constantly changed here. We see him come out of the pit lane and has a little bit of work again to do to catch up, but I think no matter what we will come in this lap. We've been behind the safety car for a very long time. We'll see what they have in store. Safety car is in this lap. We'll see what Hyper can do now to pace the field in the final sector. Up the Gunners is going to try and get as quick as he can down that back straight to catch up to the rest of the field, as we're ready to get underway for more racing here. Another 20 laps or so of Baku awaits. Our first safety car, and probably not the last of the night, has got done and over with. And Hyper, who still has that little bit of damage from earlier in the race, leads us underway here and down in towards turn 1. Rafa defends his position as Lucas Racing has gone straight off. He's gone straight off, I think, there at turn 1. He's lost so many places, locked up, as it looks like Ricky gets into a little bit of a tangle there with M. Stowe. Both of them losing out places here and have dropped, which just means Caden Conway is effectively in the net lead here at the moment, as up the Gunners goes straight on at turn 2. Leo and Fran Bernoulli battling away here for P5, as Leo manages to stick in it as ST drops places, as we see some battling going on ahead. Johnsy Boy and Yari collide, and he's hit the wall, and it's a VSC straight away after this safety car as the carnage ensues. But it's a big loss for Ricky and M. Stowe, especially the fact that Ricky now has wing damage. So that greatly is going to affect his race now, and he will be absolutely furious with whoever was the cause of that. Up the Gunners retiring from the race, and he is finished this session. So we are green flags and we're back underway here as we watch the drivers head down. Quiet Boy making up places there on Rafa on the first lap, and of course without damage he should be able to close up to Hyper now and get right up amongst the rear wing of the Kick Sauber. Is it a chance for maybe back-to-back podiums for the championship champ? As we see Hyper kind of almost breezing away here at the moment. He doesn't want anything to do with any of the battling going on behind. Caden Conway breezes by Stranger, and it looks like the two Hasses are going to follow through. Oh, a little bit of contact, because I think Stranger had to brake as he was coming into the pits. Rafa does get by Quiet Boy in the drag race down towards 1, and Ricky has lost even more places and has spun on the main straight. So what has happened there? Trying to get the car turned around. He is down nearly to 17th. He can't get the car turned around here at the moment. He's pretty much consistently spinning, and it's looking like he is going further and further behind. I don't know whether this is taking a piss or if it's just rookie errors here from Ricky, but he's losing so much time now to the cars behind, and it's looking like his race has come to an end early. And that is an awful shame for the Ferrari driver, who has no front wing and has also missed the pit lane exit. So it's pole to last here for the likes of Ricky, but a safety car is out. So our second safety car is out, which is going to allow him now to get in and make another pit stop phase. Monkey retired from the session amongst all that as well. So now is going to be the chance for the rest of the drivers now to come into this race, as Ricky has retired from the session. So Caden goes through. He's up into the race lead. Who will be next after that? It's looking like it's going to be a double stop down at Kick Sauber, but everyone else is coming into the pits, which is very strange. So we see Leo now coming in. His car only a slight loss of time for him, so he's going to come out just in between M. Stowe and Fran Bernoulli. So a good pit stop down at Kick Sauber, a nice double stack. But as I said, Jitter Archie, and think of Richie from the start of this race, he looked like he was nowhere. Currently now running 1-2 with his teammate Caden Conway, and we'll see what these two can do off this restart. But M. Stowe now, lots of work to do for him. Down in P9, he was running 1-2 at Ricky. Ricky, retirement, DNF from the race. He will not be scoring any points. So that's an awful shame for him. But there will be another safety car, so we haven't had much racing gone on. 3 retirements already. But it looks like everyone will catch up fairly quick enough. Yari seems to be struggling down in 17th at the moment. As Nathan and Solar trading places here. Nathan riding alongside the Red Bull. He probably shouldn't be doing that. As we see it, almost nearly a change of places there between Caden and Richie. I think it's okay though. So, as we come to the end of the second sector, the safety car will be in this lap. We'll get going at lap 12 for another 15 laps ahead of us. So, hopefully we see a lot less dangerous driving. But we've a lot of work for some of the championship contenders of M. Stowe and Leopold. Ricky, unfortunately, another low scoring finish today. DNF, no points for the Ferrari driver. We'll hope that his teammate can bring home some points to secure some help for the constructors battle. But at the moment, I think Racing Bulls are going to be picking up some of the biggest points they need all season. Currently plumb last, or no, not last, P7 in the standings, very near the back of the pack. Caden gets us underway as the Racing Bulls race down towards turn 1, and Jitter Archie right next to Richie, thinking of maybe a move down into 1 as we see all the drivers come through. Leo looking like he's under pressure from Francesco Bernoulli as Hyper has made up many places there. A little bit of contact and some front wing of the Williams and the McLaren gone flying off there. Or maybe it was just the Williams of Quiet Boy, I think, losing out places. Both front end plates gone. That's an awful shame, as somebody has hit the wall down there. It's pretty much no front wing for someone, as there's end plates flying everywhere and there's more crashes. Yari, Solar's lost out to places. Stranger colliding, and it is yet another safety car. We can't have any sort of racing here because the drivers at the back, well, I don't want to sit here and complain all race, but it's not allowing the likes of Leo and M Stowe to make any sort of gain in the early stages, because they're just getting damage and colliding with other cars, and it's been absolute carnage in the first few corners on a safety car restart. But for the front runners, they're happy to let their tyres kind of stay in peak condition for as long as possible and have another 2 laps of no racing for us to watch. So keep that entertained. Into the pits, pretty much everyone who had any sort of damage. So hopefully we see the kind of safety car take a little bit of a break. I think those tyres are probably heated up the most out of anyone's. Both Racing Bulls in a good position, and it looks like even Leo has got himself into a good position here on those mediums, with a Ferrari and his teammate just ahead, Fran Bernoulli behind, then the Viper and Lucas Racing all in good spots. Yari, who somehow managed to stay away from any sort of damage in that phase of carnage, now running in P9 with Jitter Archie, the last of the runners who made a pit stop. So we'll see how far he can take those medium tyres. Of course, he'll try and nurse them as much as he can through the safety car period and see if they will go till the end. This is the most safety cars we've had in a Formula Aero race ever, with 3. So we'll see if that is even going to be extended in this race. We're only halfway there. So if it continues like this, the first few laps were quite decent. We had the virtual safety car, which slowed things down a little bit at the start. But other than that, it was quite entertaining up until the first incident involving, I think it was Johnsy Boy, who started all of this with his first bit of damage, or his second bit of damage, and enough to bring out a safety car, as the 2 McLarens are well back here at the moment. But of course, still lots of work to do. Hopefully no heroics in the opening few corners, because that's not where you're going to win races. You're going to win races with patience and with a little bit of luck as well. But sending it into the first corner, definitely probably not recommended. Hopefully we get the rest of the pack to catch up here now, and we get a good bit of racing to go, hopefully, for the final half of this race. I was on mute there. That's a big shame, but it looks like Viper is going to put a lot of pressure on Rafa here for this podium, as, like I was saying, Leopold out of this race, clipped the inside curb, or clipped the inside wall at turn 2. So himself and Ricky, 2 championship contenders, out of the race. Stowe going to try and pick up as many points as possible, as he's right on the back of Jitter Archie, who got back by him. After the overtake in turn 15, but Stowe will have DRS and a lot of ERS to burn down on the run towards turn 2 here, looking to try and get back by him, and he does. It's P6 for the Haas driver. As then we also see Richie, who hit the wall again at turn 15. He's had a horrible race today, and really unfortunate considering the position he was in at the start of this stint. He's going to come into the pit lane now, and it has been an absolute race of carnage today, as we see Yari now come out for his probably final pit stop. I wonder if any of these tyres from the front runners will start to burn out. I'm looking at the like of Fran, maybe even Hyper as well. How much can they cope with those tyres? Caden, I think he's checked out. He's done. That's him off and away, riding into the sunset for his first win in Formula Aero. Now Rafa in the Ferrari with his teammate retired. Can he pick up some decent points for the Scuderia, as he's right on the back of Hyper now? What can he do here with 8 laps remaining? Is Hyper maybe going to make his way into the pits here soon? I think Rafa is going to get this done. He breezes by Hyper on the run to 1, and he is up into 2nd place. So it's been a good race for Rafa, who also has a little bit of wing damage, which maybe will open the door for Stowe to gain on all of these ahead, of course, on hard tyres as well. Bo Williams in good point scoring positions in P7 and 8, with ST putting them under pressure. And it looks like Lucas Racing is going to come home for his first finish of the season in P10. As we look to see Viper going round the outside of Hyper there, and that's one of the Haas drivers up into the podium places already. So it's been an excellent debut for Luca 96, or the Viper 96. Is he going to be able to maybe close in on Rafa, who may be even able to close in on Caden? We don't know how the rest of this race will plan out, but with 7 laps to go, it's looking good for the Racing Bull Irish driver of Caden Conway. Only living probably about a 10-minute drive, probably 5-minute drive from where I currently am, so I am rooting him on at the moment. We will see now, as his lead has extended to 3 seconds. What has Fran and Hyper got left in those medium tyres? Stowe right on the back of the Alpine and the Kick Sauber. We'll see now, can he make any sort of inroads on the two of them? He's looking like he's going to get by Fran even before the DRS zone, which may allow him for a double overtake here. Hyper does get the benefit of DRS, but Stowe has a lot of speed here and is going to look to go down the inside. Hyper trying to defend for the sake of his teammate, but he's going to have to back out, and he's probably going to lose the place. He does lose the place to Fran as well. Stowe up into P4, and he is now a man on a mission here at the moment. His tyres, you'll have to kind of take care of them though. He's on 12 lap old tyres, Caden on 15 lap old tyres. How long will they go is a question. We'll see how long can they go. Another 6 laps or so. Of course, there's been a lot of laps under safety car where he doesn't have to push it. He doesn't have to push it as strongly, which means that it should be still in good condition, especially the drivers who are on the 10 lap old hard tyres. But you see Fran and Hyper starting to fall away now. Are they thinking of a pit stop, or are they trying to nurse these mediums to the end? They've 6 odd laps to do it. Stowe now right on the back of his teammate. Does he have any kind of mercy for his teammate, who's racing for the first time here in Formula Aero? We'll have to see. as they put pressure on each other down towards turn 15 now, and onto the main straight is M. Stowe gonna get this move done. Even a P2 today would be so big for his championship hopes, as Richie goes straight on again at turn 2, and it's putting a bad day into an even worse day for him. But M. Stowe right on the back of his teammate here, and is by his teammate up into P3, and a good overtake from the Haas driver. One more, maybe even two, if he has the pace. Is Caden's tyres going to hang on? What has our championship leader got in store for us? Does he have back-to-back race wins in store for us? As we see Piper, Quiet Boy, Jitter Archie all come into the pits. That may invite Fran to come into the pits, which means Lucas Racing, who looked down and out at the safety car restart, is going to pick up potentially a top 5 finish here, because his tyre is still fairly new enough, and he will get to that lap 8 window where the tyres kind of start to fall, and he will have a very good race of P6 anyway, no matter what. So a little bit of battling going on potentially at the back, depending on the pace of the drivers. Hyper are going to be very unlucky to have to make that pit stop, but how well has Fran nursed his tyres? Has he nursed them better than he did in URC on Thursday night, where he was in puncture region on those hard tyres that he had to come in late in the race? Will he have to do the same, or will he try and just nurse out this 12 second, that's now actually 11 and potentially 10 by the end of the lap? Can he just nurse out that big lead that he has? Because if he does pit, he's going to come out probably in and around P8. Can he just keep those tyres in shape? We'll see now what he does, because it looks like the front 4 aren't making any inroads of any sort of overtake so far. Fran is looking like he's going to try and stick it out, and I tell you, fair fucks to him, because that is exactly what I would try and do as well. See the Viper clip the wall there. That's unfortunate for him. I think he's kind of fallen away now from that top 3 battle. So it's looking like P4 for the Viper on debut. Good result. But car number 71, car number 1 in the championship so far, chasing down Rafa for P2, who are both of them gaining on Caden Conway ahead, as Richie has retired from the race. So we may have a dramatic finish here after all. Caden trying to nurse those tyres to the end, but what has M. Stowe now at DRS Open got on the Ferrari? Looks a bit too far behind on this occasion. 4 laps to go now, and it's 2 Ferrari powered cars chasing down the Racing Bull, and it's going to be very, very interesting. M. Stowe will have DRS very, very quickly again on the run now down towards turn 3. Again, looks like he's going to be too far behind to make any sort of overtake this lap. Fran Bernoulli putting himself under more and more pressure as these laps go on. You can see that car in his mirrors now of Lucas Racing, but he's doing a fantastic job so far in keeping those tyres at least in round shape. They haven't blown up yet. 13 laps on medium tyres around Baku. It's looking like he's going to try and do 16, and then Caden is looking like he's going to try and do 21, which would be absolutely insane. I'm aware there was 3 safety cars this race, but still, and insane amount of tyre management. How much can Fran keep it together? We follow M. Stowe, who's not going to be close enough to do his iconic I should say, probably isn't the right word, but his notorious move, I should say, into turn 14. He doesn't try it this time, and instead he's going to look to maybe line up Rafa on the run down towards turn 1, which starts at the exit of 16, which he's got exactly right. So he's right on the back of the Ferrari now, probably on slightly more worn tyres, but maybe he's just a little bit quicker of a driver. DRS now available. He's also really close to Caden Conway, and DRS will be helping him gain along with the slipstream down towards 1. The gap is only about 1.2 seconds now, and Caden Conway's tyres must be screaming for help as Fran is losing even more time, and he has had to call it into the pits. He's not going to risk any more. He's going to come out in P8 on soft tyres and will set the fastest lap for Pride. So unfortunately couldn't nurse out those tyres, but can Caden Conway nurse out his tyres, because he's under a lot of pressure from the Haas behind. He's probably got 2 more laps to try it. He's got the end of this lap and the end of the next lap to try and get by Caden Conway. How much battery has Caden saved? They're roughly around the same, so he will have as much as he can to try and defend from M. Stowe as much as possible. Of course, he has to be careful because Rafa is also right on the back of the 2 of them, but all of them I think are starting to struggle with tyre wear. All at least 14 laps on those hards. Lucas Racing probably the quickest on track. I think Hyper is going to get back to where he already was going to be, because he's getting closer to Lucas Racing and his medium's still very much fresh. Fran onto a fresh set of softs as we see Hyper starting the game, but we're going to switch to the leaders. We'll keep an eye on the timing screens for Hyper and Lucas Racing, but it's looking like M. Stowe, who looked down and out of this race after a collision with I think Ricky at the start of the first safety car restart, is made an ultimate comeback in this race, and with perfect wear on his tyres, or perfect strategy, it looked like he may have just got that move done, but he might have to wait a little bit longer. Hyper will get the move done before the DRS zone on Lucas Racing. P5 for Hyper, very good result for him, and we'll see what he can do now with 2 laps if the Vipers tyres start to fall away. But M. Stowe looks like he had to run on Caden. We missed that, but he's got the move done, and he finally now leads the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. What a fine race it has been from M. Stowe, who's going to look like he's going to have a 90 point in the championship going into the last round of the year in China. Ricky taking home no points, as well as Leo, and it's looking like his next closest, who's going to take home some decent points today, is Quiet Boy, who only has 25 points in the championship. M. Stowe will be taking home 25 today, as Caden Conway spun. He's lost the car here on the exit of turn 13, and it's going to allow the Viper to go through, and it's going to be a double Haas podium and a podium on debut for the Viper, and it's going to look like the likes of Hyper is going to look to catch him and potentially get a P4. We will see. About a lap of racing to go. M. Stowe leads now by about 2 seconds. His tyres look to be in good shape. How is Caden able to manage his? He's still right on the back of the Viper here at the moment. Both of them probably struggling as much with tyre wear. The Viper, both of them derating and lost pretty much all of their battery. Hyper has lost all of his speed kind of in the last few last few corners there. So it's looking like Rafa and M. Stowe really did check out there away from the Viper when M. Stowe got by. They have a 10-second lead from the rest of the field. M. Stowe having that little bit of a comfort as well away from the rest. Hyper is right on the back of Caden, but he's probably not going to be able to get anywhere close to him just yet. Quiet Boy also right on the back of Lucas. We have an interesting final lap ahead of us. to see who can secure as many points as possible. Jitter Archie back into the pits again, and he is going to now not score a point, so he couldn't take those mediums any further, or those hards any further. That's his race over with. But it's looking like we're going to switch to M. Stowe, who looked down and out in and around lap 8 of this race. Down and out of the points. Himself and Ricky looked out of it. Ricky was out of it. M. Stowe has responded just the way any potential world champ has responded, as we see Hyper get by Caden into the corner where Caden is starting to struggle. But M. Stowe, who's won the opening round in Monza by less than a tenth of a second, has had the only driver with 100 points record here, and is going to blast himself well in front in the championship standings. M. Stowe crosses the line to win the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and it's going to be the Ferrari of Rafa, with 2 phenomenal races for him on his 2 first starts in Formula Aero. And it's a double podium for Haas, and it's looking like they're going to shoot to the top of the constructor standings. The Viper on debut with a podium. Fantastic. Hyper with a great recovery drive to pick up P4. Next will be Lucas on his debut to take home P5, followed by the Williams of Quiet Boy. Fran Bernoulli picks up P7 on his Formula Aero debut, and ST looking like himself and Yari will cross the line enough. And Caden's tyres didn't last, and it's looking like he's going to be in a drag race with Jitter Archie to the line. Oh, it looked like maybe with 2 laps ago he was going to take home his first win, and in the end he may not even take home a point at all as he tries to drag that car to the end, but he's not going to do enough, and he's retired from the session. Jitter Archie finishes in the final points position. But what a fantastic race it has been. A race of controversy, a race of just absolute drama. And it's the Haas driver of M. Stowe to take home his 3rd win of the season, and the first driver this season to take home back-to-back race victories. And now the question is, who will stop him? So, with that, brings it to the end another Formula Aero race. M. Stowe wins from Rafa, as we're going to quickly try and scroll through all the incidents. I don't think there was many 3-second penalties, but as we see there, lots of DNFs today. Pretty much everyone in the top, not in the top 10, retiring from the race. But a fantastic race. Definitely a race that I won't forget, but would probably want to forget as a league owner. But for the entertainment purposes in the last half of that race that I wanted to see the quality pick up, it definitely has picked up, and that was absolutely phenomenal. So with that brings the end another Formula Aero race. We will see you next Monday in China for the final FA2 race of the year before we start 2026. For Tier 1, we will see you again this time next week for the Chinese Grand Prix, for our final race of 2025. Of course, if you're still here, be sure to join us tomorrow night in our partners URC. We are racing in Jeddah. I am racing in Jeddah. Hopefully we'll have a decent race compared to Britain, and we'll see what that has in store. But I've been Gaffo, and this has been Formula Aero.